Good morning from 2 in the morning. Bad time to be starting, I know, but might as well, since I'm up. It is a Cinderella retelling. Kind of, I am a bit of like a lit nerd in terms of like intertextuality, and so like the nature of retellings is really interesting to me. I don't like Ship of Theseus because I don't think that's worth anything. But yeah, it's interesting because we have a prince, but we don't have a royal family. And there's the stepmother and the stepsisters, and they are not abusive. It's not fantasy, which is really weird for me. So not a magical fairy godmother, and I don't think I want a fairy godmother at all. So yeah, I've been looking forward to this for so long. I've had this idea for years, and it just kind of felt like the right time. So I'm really excited to get to it. And also because I have been putting off listening to the, 1989 Taylor's version that was just released. Because that feels kind of the mood, I guess. I mean, I say that, I don't actually remember what songs are on it. So maybe that's entirely wrong. But yeah, I'm gonna have fun with this one, and I'm really looking forward to that. Okay, apologies for the horror vibes. I prefer the dark. I just wanted to say thank you to TNL. I'm not sure about, saying like their usernames or whatever. So I'm just saying thank you, TNL, because I do my best work when I have like a monthly prompt. I just did October prompts on my blog, Tales of Devran and Others, and that was fantastic. And I did actually manage to get a thing up every day, which I'm hoping helps me for Nano, which is why I asked if anyone had like a prompt for me. And I think I got about 10 or so thank you very much for that. I'm actually going to go with my own for the first one, which is Hearth. Yeah, we're opening very sweet and cozy. So after all that, I didn't actually start writing until after 6 p.m. Like I said, I was going to do my own prompt thing for chapter 1. I might also include the first one that I was given. I did start this years ago, and I only did chapter 1. And I remember being kind of confused about how to set it, like in the kitchen by the hearth, or in her room being interrupted by her sister because she's not supposed to be sewing, and she is, and she's going to get in trouble. Because I did want to play with that expectation, that the typical, like, the sisters are abusive, so like she's embroidering and she's not supposed to, and her sister is there and goes and tells on her, and you're like, oh no, she's going to get in trouble from her horrible family, and she is kind of getting in trouble, but they're not a horrible family. Also, I did put 1989 Taylor's version on, and yeah, I don't think this is the album that I thought it was. There are songs that I recognise, but yeah, I don't think this is the best. The songs I remember being on the album fit the mood really well, but most of them do not. So I will listen to the rest of the album, and then I will find something else to soundtrack this. So I just gave myself a fright because the word count in my document was different from the one on Nano. But that's okay because I did a thing yesterday and I was immediately like, no, that doesn't work. So it's not even a page long, but I've just made a document called Cinderella side stories for that. And that'll probably go up on like Patreon or something at some point. Yeah. So Panic Averted. Originally the idea was just to write in third person close perspective, but it's not ended up that way. The second chapter was her little sisters, and that really surprised me because originally both of the stepsisters were older than her, and now we have like an actual child in the mix who who has good intentions but is still very much a menace. And I'm incredibly fond of her actually. Yes, and she got the second chapter. So I've just finished chapter 3. The ball has been mentioned, so I don't really know who to go to for chapter 4. And by the way, the word prompt that I'd asked for from people, I'm going to just concentrate that on Hwa's chapters. But yeah, I don't really know who to do for this next one. I'm thinking the older stepsister, but it might actually just be someone in the wider community. I don't remember being ahead even one day, never mind consecutive days, so this is really exciting. Some thoughts before I go to sleep. It was Fearless and Speak Now that really kind of fit the vibe of the project. There's also a Kelsey Ballerini album that I don't remember what it was called, unfortunately. I am going to show you an excerpt tomorrow from the side story, just a paragraph. I'm kind of worried that it's going so well I might self-sabotage, because I keep looking at it and I'm like, this is not the writing style I expected, and it's not as descriptive as I like. And that's all fine things to note, but I'm kind of worried that it will eventually kind of snowball and stop me in my tracks, which, for obvious reasons, I do not want. I don't want this to be like Autumn Moon, in which I'm still stuck in like the prologue in chapter 1 after over almost a decade. It's a lot, and I don't want that to happen again. I will also need to tell you about the names, because the names are interesting to me anyway. Yeah, I think that's it. So yesterday I only got 511 words done because it was a bad day yesterday, a lot of pain. And I don't expect today's going to be any better, because I am currently trying to momentarily fall asleep sitting up because it's uncomfortable. And if I'm uncomfortable, hopefully the alarms will actually wake me up for a doctor's appointment. It's not a great time to be me. But yeah, I'll definitely get something done today, if just to keep up the streak, if nothing else. So I've talked a little bit about Taylor Swift as like the musical accompaniment to my writing, because I like the kind of pop feel of it, and also, even though it's mostly been like Taylor's versions, there is like a nostalgia from my own teenagerdom to it. But I knew right from the start that I didn't want to listen to Evermore and Folklore, because I think they are my favourite albums, but they're very much a different feel. Which brings me to chapter 7, which is, I think, my favourite so far. It hasn't really brought my writing style back into line as one that I would, like, associate with myself. But it's very introspective, and I feel much more at home in that. So we're starting with 7, the track from Folklore tonight. There's less than an hour left, so I know that this is going to be the worst in terms of word count yet. But I did go to the doctor's yesterday, and I still feel really, really terrible today. I do have some steroids, but not all of the medicines came in. We are at an interesting bit though. The last paragraph that I finished yesterday is talking about Hua visiting Chandra auntie, and she's very surprised that this family also has a kitchen, because she thought, like, cooking fires aside, an actual kitchen, that hers was the only one, which I think, like, I don't want to dwell too much, like, on, like, the politics of the society, as I think I've mentioned before, but I do think that's just weaving things in is interesting, and hopefully I do enough that I don't need to go into too much detail about it, and it also doesn't feel like it doesn't, make sense, but there we go. Evening, everyone. It's another bad day, so excuse the lack of light. Yesterday's was a really good chapter, and also kind of concerning, because I had Hua's sister meet the prince, and in terms of, like, characterization and motivation, it's fantastic, and it also really reiterates the conflict of Hua wanting to go to the celebration and her family being like, you can't walk that far. How are you gonna be at a celebration where there's dancing and all that? And for a second I did think, oh no, what if these two have more chemistry? But actually in the end I'm kind of happy with it. It's still early morning, so I think I got around 500-ish words done, and I mean, there's still the health problems, but I feel like I'm flagging. The writing style is really kind of getting on my nerves now. I was tempted back at the beginning of the month to, like, have a look at that kind of half chapter I'd written before, because there was a lot about it that was different. They were both, like, on islands, and it was both, like, a mix of people from different backgrounds, and that was a lot more kind of rooted in, like, actual place and ethnic groups, and the houses were a lot more like houses, like Western houses. And yeah, the stepsisters were both older than her. She felt older. Everyone feels much younger in this draft. Because there are aunties now, and there are so many of them, and also because, just, like, again, the writing style just feels, I don't want to say juvenile, and I am very tired, so I can't think of anything else, but it's not, yeah, everyone feels younger, and it doesn't come across well, I would say. There is a lot more, I feel like it's a very kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It feels a lot more telling than showing, but that might just be because it's so much more in their heads. It's a lot more kind of stream of consciousness kind of thing with them, and I don't regret. I really, one of my favorite things so far with this is like being in their heads and switching characters, because it was just going to be from her perspective before, and now like hers is every like odd number of chapters, and I love that. I love that we got insight into the prince, and I think I'm kind of getting to the tipping point where the bad is outweighing the good. But that might just, I felt like this before, and maybe I can keep pushing on. I really want to win Nano this year, but I also would like to actually have a complete draft. So if that means like completing this draft, I don't know. Frankly, like I've been putting it into Google Docs, and it says we're on page like 27 or something. We're not even 30 pages in, and it both feels like we are taking an interminably long time to get anywhere, and also it's going really, really fast. Like, what do you mean that it's like 2 days away, kind of thing? Yeah, I don't know. I think that's what you could sum up this entire thing with. Just, I don't know any of it. The plan originally was to do like a month-long vlog of this and then just be done with it. I think, however, looking at like the space that I have and the amount of clips that I have, I am going to just cut my losses here, and we'll do it for, this is the 10th, right? It's an upload day. I'll upload it today. And also on the 20th, and also at the end of the month. So thank you for watching. If you're doing Nano, I hope it is a success for you, however you define that. Yeah. Bye.